All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get started here, and we're going to go over in this presentation how Maid of Honor, how a few other case studies like the new AIDS Foundation, how For the Life of You, how some of our clients have gone from 0 to 50K in just 4 months using a grant funding system. And that's what we have. We're going to have a lot of fun today. We're going to go through these use cases. So let's get right into it. So first use case is Maid of Honor. And Maid of Honor, just to let you know, Maid of Honor is a community service organization that is based out of San Antonio, Texas. They do both campus and community involvement. And they started implementing the strategy, and when they first started, they just had a few fundraisers, a few volunteers. We helped them build out their grant funding system, their outreach campaigns, and they got almost 24K, just under that, in just a few months, actually 3 months. So that's one case study. The brand pillars, and this is a unique case, and I'm going to show you a few different use cases. The reason is so you can see how you could potentially use us and how other clients already have. So the brand pillars, they're a social tech platform that helps match college students with brands like Samsung, Aston Martin, Bentley, tongue twister, and they had a nonprofit as well. And if you can see down here, they're based in LA. They built a co-working space as well. And that co-working space was eligible for some green money. And using our system, DApps, they started running and found about 50K in grant and incentive money, again, in only 3 months. And using the analytics portion of DApps, we were able to find an additional 130 opportunities. They're expanding throughout the country, doing some great things. Healthcare use case, the new AIDS Foundation. They are based right here in Houston, Texas, and they're a company that came to us and saw what we were able to do with one of our other clients, just based in Houston, and they'd already had success with grants. So why would they use us? I mean, they raised probably $2 million worth of grants previously. Well, things in their organization changed, and they did not have the grant writer that they had before. They had things all over the place. They were in flux. So we were able to help them and get back on track and get about $1.2 million from the Center of Disease Control. I mean, large government grants, they had experience. They just needed people to keep that going and develop a system to continually to go forward. So those are a few use cases. Now, who's this for? Who is this webinar for? So maybe you're a nonprofit founder, maybe you've been working on your programs, you have some strong case and impact studies with some documented impact, you have some initial revenue that you've done through fundraising, a strong mission, but you haven't really solved your grant funnel or even came close to developing a repeatable system. You don't have a predictable and sustainable way to generate grants, and you don't even have a proven process that makes sense at a price to continue, right? You probably tried a grant database, but that didn't work. You probably tried some outbound prospecting and that didn't work, or even hired an outside consultant, but they're just not producing. You promised your board, your friends, your family, that you'd get this project off the ground. I know this very well, and we'll get into that. I know how you feel, being pinned up against the wall. You need to get traction ASAP. You're probably stressed. You're thinking about these programs in the shower and how we're going to get these. You've read all the books, read all the blogs. You know the lingo. You just struggle to implement a true system that can get you going other places, right? And if you don't get traction on this ASAP, somebody else is going to take your lunch. I mean, you know what grants are. You're technical. You know you know what the tools are, you understand abstract concepts, you know what grant and fundraising development is. You just lack, you know, either one of three things, what we found, either the time, tools, and talent to really get this to the next level, right? I understand this very well. You know you're on the verge of massive success, and if you can just solve this, you know you need help. If you can just crack this code, your organizations will be able to raise millions, right? And you can really make the impact that you want. And that's what we're here for, right? You can, to expand jobs and create that impact. You're motivated, you're smart, and you know everything that you've worked to at this point comes to this. You have the resources at the disposal. You just need a game plan to put it all together to break this through and make the dream a reality. So I understand this. Let me tell you a little bit and why we're here. And this is the core concept. In order to get, and we're talking about the first level, $50K in grants for your organization in the next 3 months. You need a great mission. You probably have that. You need documented impact. You have that. And you need a grant funding system. Now, if you don't know what a grant funding system is, that's fine. Most organizations don't. It's a newer concept that most people in organizations are not familiar with. But most teams don't have the sufficient time, tools, and talent needed in-house, so they need outside help. And GrantSource is the only company that's dedicated to helping organizations build an incredibly efficient grant funding system. So let me tell you a little bit about our background. Okay, so my name is Alan Thornton. I am the founder and CEO of GrantSource. I hold, and some of this is not to impress you, but just to impress upon you. I've been there. I understand what you're going through. And I've had a background that had everything I've done and our team has done have led us to this point to make us uniquely qualified to help you. So I hold a business entrepreneurship degree from the University of Texas at San Antonio. I'm a former nonprofit executive. I sit on a few boards, and I've also sold a lot of enterprise software over the last 10 years. So if you're a technical founder, even in a nonprofit organization, I understand and I can speak your language. I am from far West Texas, where there's a huge Army base. It's been in the news a lot here as of recently, unfortunately, for unfortunate events. But I'm from El Paso, Texas. That's where I'm from. As a kid, I was that little kid, always into fundraising. I've always been coin operated, and I was the one that sold everything. You talk about lotions, potions, hope, soap, you name it. I sold it. And when I got through college, I didn't have a lot of money, so I put myself through college through selling insurance and bartending at night. But what happened at college is I found something that I was truly passionate about. And with a group of a couple of my close friends, we started a nonprofit organization. And we just knocked the feet off of it, right? We started this organization, we were young, we were passionate, still am young, right? Still am passionate. But we knocked on a bunch of doors, we built homes, we fed the homeless, we did mentoring with younger kids in that area. We also partnered with organizations for professional development, and we fundraised like crazy. That's where we really got our boot off the ground. And back in the 2008 election, we even registered about 3,200 students to vote. Good, bad, or different, Republican, Democrat, it didn't matter. We were just trying to get young voices heard to vote. So we made a huge impact, and we did all of this out of passion, and we did it for free, right? And that's how we started, which was big. It was just no money involved, and for somebody that was coin operated, that was incredible. And we saw we had a lot of impact, and we wanted to expand that organization to other places. Like some of you've probably been there, and you have good things going, but we wanted to expand. We just didn't have expansion money. So that's when we saw grants. We saw grants as a huge opportunity, but quickly found they were extremely difficult to find, even harder to write. And I was wearing a lot of hats, right? The fundraising director, the running the programs, so working with volunteers, keeping our staff motivated. So I paid a grant writer to work on it for us. Unfortunately, the problem was there was no communication back and forth. There was no way to really track the progress. And eventually they ended up taking our money and we never saw them again. It happens, and we were really upset. And being millennials, we were like, hey, look, there's got to be an app for that. I mean, there's no way that this should happen to people. There's got to be a more streamlined way to do this. So that's when GrantSource was born. There wasn't anything, so we created it. And GrantSource was born out of necessity. So we're going to go through a few steps. Just stay with us here, and then we're going to go over our process, because anytime you have an obstacle and a problem, you need a plan to move forward to get you the progress that you want. So let's go through that. I'm going to go over 3 steps, and then I'm going to kind of show you how each step works. So stay with us. The first, you want, anytime you're at a specific point, you need to make sure you understand those people. The old Chinese proverb, right? If you chase 2 rabbits, you will catch none. That's my bad Chinese voice. You'll catch none because you're not focused, and if you confuse, you lose, and that's very important. You want to start with one specific group that you really understand, capture and document that market, and then move in concentric circles out of that. Have that, and let me show you an example. And this is something that we go over with each and every one of our clients, right? Once they come on board, we go through a strategy session with them, and we break down their core program into projects that we write. And you see over here, there are foundation grants, there's government grants. Everybody wants to go after the big government grants, and that's fine, but let's validate your program so you don't waste a bunch of money on things that aren't validated. Because if you can do it at the foundation and corporate level, you're gonna have a lot of success, right? So in this little diagram, you can see we start picking a niche, and niche is important. Niche, however you say it, tomato. You want to start collecting that support in a specific area, right? So you can make sure you can get supporters. Then we'll scale up with volunteers, paid staff, and write additional proposals to expand. But we need to validate that right away. So let me give you an example. What's that mean? So here's an organization that we're passionate about as well, and here's kind of their use case. They raised some good money, right? They had a few major donors. They had good impact, some solid board members, which is good, right? But originally, they were going after kids everywhere in Houston, right? Everywhere in Galveston, everywhere in Katy, everywhere in Austin. We're going to do this everywhere, right? They want to go after small kids. They want to go after big kids. Let's go after high school kids, large after school programs, daycare forums, partners, all at the same time. We do meals for kids everywhere. And here's the thing. They struggled to get traction in any of those areas. But eventually the cows came home, and they were focused on one area, and that area was preschool kids. So they really focused on one area and started writing and started getting down. Their volunteers were more focused. Their board could fundraise better, and they signed up preschool after preschool, and they developed a pretty nice organization. And this is us a couple weeks ago, and we went there. They have an incredible organization, and they got traction with preschool kids. But guess what? All those preschool kids, or a lot of them, they have siblings. So they started going to areas outside of just preschool kids. Let me show you, give you an example, right? They started in that one circle, in this one niche, which was just the preschool kids, and they expanded to their siblings. And then they expanded from Houston to, they started doing things in Katy. Yes, they started doing things in Pearland. They started doing things in Galveston after that. But when you get really focused, your message cuts through all of the noise that all of these funders get, because they get all kinds of things. And remember, if you confuse, you lose. Who are you going after? How were you able to help them? What's the impact study? And it's gonna match to their mission. So you want to isolate and focus your resources, right? And that's a big thing. No, often you can build your first program, you can run a few experiments, and then you can validate that. You want to be so focused that you can get zero competition and everybody knows who you are. The more narrow you are in your niche, the more your message and proposals just cuts through everything. So here's an example. Men of Honor, serving 4th to 5th grade low-income African-American kids in a single-parent home in the 3rd Ward of Houston. Now, do you think can you see that person? Absolutely. If you can see it, you can support it right away. It cuts through the noise. So this is another one. And this, once you pick your niche, and here's our customer journey, it'll help you write your project description. It'll help you write your budget. Once you do that, you can find specific grants that match up through our databases, our analytics, and similar projects that you've done in the past, right? We do this whole process flow diagram. You have resources available to you. And the only thing that's involved from you is the things in yellow. We walk you through all of this. The strategy session is what I talked about in the last one, right? If you can go do this, you get your process flow down. People, process, and technology, remember that. And we help you with the consulting, and we help everything in one place, right? You want to be able to generate highly probable grant opportunities. And that is more than, a lot of it's about relationship, but some of it's over here, right? You want to have analytics, you want to have the right databases. You want to have a system to get you where you want to go, not just a tool, because a tool, right, it's one piece. You need everything together so you'll have a sustainable way to get you where you need to be. So step 2, right? Stay with us. Showcase your program that is already supported by a strong foundation. So here's our foundation. No, this is not the food chart that you saw when you were a kid, the food pyramid. This is your grant and your organization foundation. And we teach this in our seminars as well, our Money for Your Mission seminars. But here's the thing. If you learn how to earn money, you can make a great living. But if you learn how to create money, you can truly make a difference. And that's what our organization is focused on. We're going to make a global impact, and we're going to help organizations like yours cut through the noise. So it's about having a strong mission, right? Once you have a strong mission, your board will say, that's a great mission. I want to be a part of that. And then your volunteers will buy into the board. You got this great board, all volunteer and do that. And your volunteers will become paid staff, and you can fundraise because you have a clear message, a clear mission, and grants are the icing on the top. So here's the thing, and we're fully transparent with all of our clients. Any client that comes to us or prospective client and says, hey, I want to have grants be my end all be all. Can you get me a grant? I don't want to do anything. I want to sit and pop popcorn. And we'll probably tell them, hey, we're probably not the organization for you because we have good relationships. We'd like to keep our success ratios high. I mean, we have an 85% success ratio when we write 6 or more grants, and that's by design for a reason, because we turn away a lot of prospective clients just to keep our ratios high. But grants is the icing on the top. If you look at for-profit businesses, the first thing on Shark Tank, a lot of people watch Shark Tank. First thing they ask, is how much money have you generated, right? Because if you've generated, if you're serious about this, then I can be serious about it. We see so many organizations that haven't done this. They don't have some of these other things together. And if you don't, and you're just starting, that's okay. But we want to let you know this is where we need to be. It's not just get a grant and then do all this. And then, I mean, you have to have some of that in place to be successful. And that's what we want to do. We want to work with organizations that are successful. I think I skipped one. So here's a use case. For the Life of You, they're a mentoring foundation for 4th and 5th grade low-income minority kids, and they started in Dallas, right? When we started working with them, they only had a few supporters, and Taylor, the fundraising director, saw what we did with another organization and asked us to help out. The first thing we did was work on that foundation, right? Foundation is important. And even, that's why I said, even if you don't have that and you're just starting out, that's fine. We can help you. If you're serious about it, then we can be. There's some major driver for support, right? These organizations have a strong mission, but who's your board? That's the first question we ask them. Let's create and increase your volunteer funnel, because if people are supporting you through in-kind donations, through volunteering with you, that's strong. People underestimate the power of volunteer. I know you just want to hear about grants, but some of this other foundational stuff is how you get grants, right? So within a few days, we had more donation support than they ever had after we ran the volunteer outreach program. They jumped on the phone, got with more sponsors, and they were solid, right? And they run a very good, strong program. Within 30 days, they had commitments for more support. And this is a bike drive that they did in Dallas. The founders and the board of directors were amazed how just little tweaks in the foundation helped tremendously. We have all the process flows for that. So here's the key points. Have a strong documented mission, right? Build a team of board of directors that supports the mission, and have mind your list, because you want to be able to maintain, sustain your volunteers, run fundraising campaigns early and often, and have a lethal grant funding system that can convert just prospective fundraisers to actually giving you support. If they can't, give you partial grant support or commit to a project for next year, you need to rework some of your foundational proposals, right? And then we can rework the budget description, rework the project description, and we can help with all of that through analytics, because we are a technology platform. So how long does it take to validate a strong program? So if you do this right, it should only take a couple weeks. And we have the templates to help you do that right away. Are there certain things that can make my board more productive? Absolutely. And we have systems that can help you with that. And the big question is, hey, I have a development officer in-house. Shouldn't they be doing some of this stuff? They should. And however, some of this is extremely complicated. And we've seen hundreds of organizations transform, aggregate all that data, put it together so we can make great decisions. Right? This didn't happen overnight. This is probably 4 years in the making since we began this journey. We recommend that the CEO or the founding team bring on some extra help, right, to assist with this, because then they can really scale out. Because if you're like us, when we first started, we were the fundraising director, we were the volunteer. Your main fundraiser is probably doing a lot of things. So if we can give them a system, they could probably do one or two of those things very well and be a supplement. And how do I know if people like my program? People vote with their wallets. Organization votes with their wallets, right? If volunteers won't donate their time, then we need to rework the foundational copy of what you're going after, right? If you can't get a cash donation or a check, if you do that, they like your program. They're voting with their wallets. So that's a good thing. Let's move on to step 3. This is the last step. And then we're going to go over, how we do it. So step 3, you want to scale up funding and expand your impact. This is what people really want to get to, right? They don't like the foundation, but the foundation is important. But once you get into scaling up, so Men of Honor, they're scaling up. Most of you on this call have probably heard of Men of Honor because we started running proposal campaigns and using analytics. We installed, retargeting and with their grant proposals, and that is almost foreign to most people. You talk about retargeting and analytics and all this technology when it comes to grants. I know that's foreign, and we're probably the only platform that has put a bunch of technology behind this, but that's how things get done these days, right? To make things more efficient, right? And now Men of Honor has probably over 30 chapters across the nation. You've probably heard and those are the ones that are like integrated. There's probably another couple hundred out there. So things are really happening. For the Life of You, the company that we talked about before, right? They had a bike drive that they run right here. They run this bike drive every year at Christmas, and first year they did about 30 bikes. Now they're going to be doing 6 different cities with over 100 bikes, right? We're running some analytics and doing multiple proposals, and that's how some of it, it's relationship, it's alignment, it's getting to the right places at the right time. And we can do a lot of that within our technology, and I'll show you in a minute. But these are the steps. You want to scale up with minimal involvement for you. I'll be fully transparent. In the beginning, it takes a little time to get the foundation right, because we can't just say, hey, don't have the ability to say, hey, show us your website and we'll send you a check for grants. Some of this is going to have to come from you. But once we get that initial system done, we can help you sustainably do it. I mean, in the next few years, For the Life of You will be in 10 cities, or they can expand horizontally, right? Or they can span vertically. They can go to more schools and do just more bikes. But we have the foundation in place to help them with that, which is a great thing. Here's what we want to get to. Right? The $1 million action flow. But it starts here with getting things in place up front. And we have the process flows for everything, right? Everybody wants to get to the big number, but that's why we start off 0 to 50K. Let's talk about that first, right? And we've helped companies all the way up with that. So the program support bit, just like in most for-profit businesses, what do they tell you? Get to product market fit as fast as you can. Make sure what you have and what you're building is something that your customers want. But still, in organizations, it's the same thing. The language is a little different, but the core concept is pretty much the same. You want to have your program, and you want to get money in validation for that, right? And we have the process flow and how long it takes, and we run the analytics with hundreds of organizations to see exactly what it takes at each one of these levels, right? And then where you should get donations or receive a grant, how much, what the average grant is. And then as you scale out and we validate our hypothesis, we can have this system to go over those larger government grants, right? And we can get you the impact that you scale. Because at the end of the day, we're here to make a huge impact. And money is just something, a tool that we need to do that. So it's very important. And let me not die on you guys in the webinar. So here's some of the key points in this. And as I plug in, so you guys don't lose me in the balances, you want to make sure you have an isolated niche for each program. People are wondering, hey, is this live? Yeah, it's live. I'm plugging in my computer to make sure we don't die during the webinar. So make sure you have an isolated niche, and make sure that when you run this grant funding system and your key points, that you're able to scale up and get support. Here's the thing. You want to be getting more money every single time. right? So if you spend $1 in fundraising, you want to receive $5 to $7 back. And that is very sustainable because your funders want to see that I don't have to give you money every single year. I should be able to give you money and you sustain that program. And then we come up with another project that they'll want to fund again because they saw that you had a successful project in the past. So let me plug in, guys. All right. We're good. We're going to stay alive here. All right. Stay with us. Stay with us. So you have two options, really, and we're about to wrap up here. You have two options. One of the options is you can do it yourself. Here's the issue with doing it yourself. Because we showed you some of the tools and some of the processes, and some of you will take screenshots and say, hey, I got a plan and I got it for free. Hey, you can do that. But it may take you a long time to isolate your niche. You could struggle building those initial grant funding systems, finding the right databases, and no knock against databases. That's how we started. A year ago, I mean, all we had, and I'll show you some of the conferences we've been at, was a database. And we thought it was great. It was changing the world, and it did. We got a lot of clients doing it. But then what we found is we always ask, and you'll get a feedback form after this one too. We ask our clients for constant feedback. And what we found is we want more than a database. We want somebody that we can hand this off to, because a database was only one part, especially when it's just a grant database, right? Because it takes a resource database, there's alignment, there's analytic databases, there's grant management, there's all these things that you need. And if you don't have the system, you just have a bunch of tools that you're gonna have to manage anyway. So you may struggle with your outbound proposal, your messages to your wrong alignment. You may struggle analyzing the right funders and scaling once you're doing multiple grant proposals, especially because grant writers are kind of like lawyers and doctors. They're specialized, in especially in different areas. And if you just have one grant writer, that's great. But what if you want to go into another area? What if you have a grant writer that's good at foundation grants, but now you want to go after, for your healthcare organization, those large NIH grants, right? The government grants. Are they proficient in that? So you want to have a system to scale out. And it's extremely challenging to line all of these pieces up in one place, right? You have to spin all these plates. If you've never done this before, there's a good chance that you may not be successful and lose a bunch of money, which is the one thing that you don't want to do. My biggest thing, and as I get wiser in this journey called life, I am more, the desire to gain is superseded by my fear of loss. Meaning, we can gain some money, that's great. But if I have to risk my money, but if you give me investment protection, I'm more likely to do that. And this is what we do. Option 2, you can work with us. And this is at our conference that we just had. And we're gonna have these in 12 other cities over the next 9 months. You work with us, you'll be in our accelerator. We only bring on a few every single month, right? You'll work with us for 4 to 12 months, and we'll help you build a sustainable grant funding system. Just to tell you about some of these guys, so this is Hassan, our VP of operations, and Hassan before was the ex-CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters, Urban League. He's helped start large foundations here in Houston, and he came to us at a Kickstarter campaign, and he loved what we, remember I talked about that foundation? When you get people that love what you do, he asked us, hey, I wish we would have had this before. What can I do to help? And ended up being a part of the team here later, and got some great people on our team. Our team has grown from, just 2 people to over 14 in just a few months. And I'll kind of show you again, who is this for, right? So this is for nonprofit organizations with an impactful program that are looking to scale up, right? Or a brand new nonprofit organization that's looking to validate their grant funding system. We're looking for healthcare organization. That's actually our #1 vertical, healthcare nonprofits, environmental organizations, educational, commercial real estate owners looking to make economic impact, because we have our green money in there, and community outreach organizations as well. It's really shine, but you have to be focused and passionate, and we want to work with those organizations that are looking to have a huge impact. If you want to have a small impact, that's fine. You just may not be the organization for you, because we're really trying to help people scale out, grow, get a repeatable system so they can maximize the impact that they're doing. So for the Life Review, like I said, if you're a community service organization, they're big. The AIDS Foundation, I know that there's a lot of healthcare organizations out there that have that same problem, right? We know how to write grants. We can do it. We've been successful. That's fine, but you may have the talent, but do you have the time, right? Do you have the tools to get to the next level? You got $1 million, can we get 10 million? Well, I don't have the time. That's where we come in. We can help supplement, even if you have grant writers on staff, supplement what you do and get you to that next level. So we like to have fun. So I'm gonna show you a few pictures. You may think it's crazy, but we've been all over the place. This is what we do. This is how we do it. When we first started, it's been a journey. Like I said, we were just a database. This is my beautiful mother. It was just me. I saw we had this problem, and I said, look, let's find a way to solve this. So I put this together and actually got burned again. About 1.5 years in, I had developers steal our code and had to start over right after we got money in a successful Kickstarter campaign to kind of build a little pilot. They stole our code, and I had to start all over. So we finally launched in January 2018, and since last year, we've helped organizations get about $5.8 million, which is incredible, and it'll just grow exponentially from there. But we started as a database, found problems that other people had, got a lot of traction with just helping clients with the database, and through feedback, we started to evolve. We've been to AFP, we've been to Collision, we've been to Startup Grind. We also stay active politically, right? Nonpartisan, whether it's Republican, Democrat, Independent, green. We're looking for green money, right? And we want to make sure that those initiatives are aligned with our government officials. And people ask, hey, when you go to that next level, how'd you get all of these resources? Well, I flew all over the country, right? I went to New York, I went to LA, I went to Kansas, I went to Florida, and we found grant professionals at these associations, and they said, hey, what you're doing is great. How can we streamline this? And we ended up we have 1,500 resources, grant consultants across the country on retainer, right? Just waiting on your project. The good thing for you is you pay a flat rate, and you know that your consultants are vetted, right? They've got $1 million in grant secured. They've had at least 3 years of experience, and they're going to be reputable and have a higher standard because they're part of a major grant association, which is suiting, right? We've been spoken at all kinds of events across the country. This is actually one of our first clients down in a school down in Louisiana, Southern University. We've been in Toronto. We go through next. This is our book that we wrote, Money for Your Mission. We speak at events, and we're always active as well. This was the next slide, international reach. We've been all over and expanded internationally now. We're in Canada. This is one of our clients. Some people think it's cheesy, but we have fun. All of our conferences, you may have seen it on our social media channels. We shoot the money gun. We have our clients shoot the money gun. Have one of our clients in Toronto shooting the money gun. But we've had clients all over the world. This is some of the clients that we've worked with in the past in various different industries, different partnerships, technology that you'll see embedded in what we have. When I first started, they're like, hey, well, where do you get grants? Well, go to this place. Okay, well, where else do we go? Go to this place. So we put all that technology in one place. You don't have to worry about the tools. It's fully managed, and this is something that we're really excited about when we launch. And you can go to aws.amazon.com/startups, and you'll see us on the front page launching this revenue accelerator, right? So we've had a notable run, and it's just going to get, as one of my uncles would say, gooder and gooder. So what do you get? And we're wrapping up. I wanted to share that with you just so you know who we are and what we do. Here's what the quick and dirty benefits. You get to validate your grant funding system. You get to your fundraising goals quickly. You remain capital efficient without risking money, right? It's cool that we're making money, but I don't want to risk my money. How do you help with that? And you hire the right team members at the right time. You build an incredible impact thesis and scale up and build things pretty much effortlessly, which is a good thing. So let me show you this real quick. I'm going to show you a few things in our system, and then we're going to wrap up. And for those that want to have a follow-up, we can definitely do that. So here's what we have. Here's our revenue accelerator. So right away you get in-depth trainings, right? We're not just going to slap you on the back and tell you to go get them. This is part of our accelerator. All of our trainings are one place that you can find exactly what you need, all the process flows and everything. You'll have templates, right? Templates, documents, scripts, master plan. How do I go talk to that fundraising person? What templates do I use? I want to put together a good, solid board bio document. Do you have a template for that? We do. Budget and project description. I don't know where to start. Not only will you see the videos, like I said, in the accelerator, but you'll also have the templates to get this done. We're building a system, right? Not a whole bunch of tools that you have to manage. This is a grant funding system. It's different than a bunch of tools. You get a strategy session, right? Show me the plan. What is the plan of success? How do we get to where we need to be? Because that's very important. To get where we need to be, how are we going to break this down? What are we going to go after? And that is all based on analytics. And then once we get that to that past that first level, we can get you to the next level and scale it out, because everything's in one place. We just needed to apply the technology to consistently find other things that you qualify for. And then we can do some cool things with like digital transformation, advanced revenue consulting, look at the things that you need to actually get more money through fundraising, your volunteers, your board, auditing and compliance. I don't want to just sell you a spaceship and say, hey, once you get a grant, the work is done, because even on the back end, there's some auditing and compliance that may have to be done, but we can help with that. Your personnel, if you need staff in other places like these conferences, we can help you with that. And then strategic planning, board planning. And we're going through and doing, going in our own accelerator as well. So these are key things. One of the things that I didn't like in the past, and I wanted to make sure that our team had a sustainable way and an answer to this, was updates, right? How do I get my updates? Do I call somebody every time and they're busy and they can't get us? Well, no, we have a system where you can go in and find everything. Each one of these projects, you get your own board, and 24/7 through a link and launch on your main app, you can see where each project is at every single time, right? Have I done the project description? Okay, this is what good looks like, green all the way across. And then what's the next project look like? Who has next? Is it on GrantSource? Is it on me? And then you have that full transparency. You have your deadline and your due dates. You know how much everything is, and you know what the main things that you need to focus on right now. Our goal is to get you through your first project in 14 days from starting with us, right? So we're very efficient, and we send feedback all the time to make sure we're in the loop and dealing with our customer needs. You also get an online community, right? And the good thing is it's part of the revenue accelerator. So we want you to put in your products and services that you're giving to the community. We want you to develop key partnerships. So that's important. You get pre-recorded calls, which is important. And these pre-recorded calls are recorded weekly. Your strategy sessions, everything's in the system for you, right? And you heard me talk about this a lot, and like I said, we're wrapping up. DApps. What is DApps? I keep on hearing DApps. Sounds like database as a service, but it's not. Here's what it is. DApps is the grant funding system, and it stands for databases. Not one database, but a suite of databases in one place. Not a bunch of tools. It's a toolbox, and it's a system to implement. So you get a grant database, a resource database, celebrities, wealthy individuals, all these things. We have analytics that gets your 990s, right? Finds organizations that have given to missions similar to yours, and what they do, and what we do is we look at the organizational trends, the causes, all through software, aggregate that to give you a high probability, and you solve that in the system. Let me show you. I'll go back real quick. I know this is unconventional, but in that strategy session, we go through this is DApps 2.0, but databases, analytics, alignment, personnel, and a system license as a service. So that's all in one place for you, right? In alignment, it's important to get either letters of recommendation or document support from government officials that are aligned with what you're doing. So if they get a proposal, they get 5 proposals, a funder, and one of them is crystal clear with a clear message. They see it has a strong foundation, and they see they have a path to sustainability. And then along with that, they know, hey, this is a mission that I've given to in the past, and it's with a letter of recommendation from a government official that's written by the personnel and a reputable grant writer. I mean, that's everything in one package. And that's what we do. And then it's a system license as a service based on mobile web. You can check everything through the app or web-based if you want to. So that is DApps. That's our system. Everybody's been to McDonald's. This is our secret sauce, right? The databases, analytics, alignment, personnel, and a system license as a service. I mean, it's a phenomenal system, and you will see other grant funding systems come out. Just like initially you saw when Steve Jobs announced, hey, everybody will have this tablet thing. And people are like, a tablet? What's a tablet? I don't need a tablet. Now almost everybody has multiple devices. You will see a shift in the market in the next few years to this digital transformation type of system where it's being capital efficient without risking money. The number one reason why organizations do business with us is because your investment is protected. Not only is this a system, there's 3 main benefits. You reduce the cost of the time, tools, and talent needed by about 90%, right? The overall cost. We're able to deliver your project 60% faster, and we're able to deliver investment protection. Meaning, if we don't at least get your investment back in the first 12 months, we will continue to write them at no cost or give you a credit for the difference. So it's risk-free. And the only way we're able to do that is we only deal with organizations that we believe we can be successful with. So here's what you get. You get in our GrantSource Accelerator, right? It's a 12-month membership. Here's what you get. You get the mentoring and the training program. You get access to updates. You get consulting, personal feedback. You get templates. You get documents. You get scripts. You get master plans, right? You get support calls with your project manager, because we are laser focused, right? We do that strategy session with your client specialist, and then your project manager is laser focused on getting your projects done right away. And we have those project management calls twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday, where you can talk about where you're stuck, but also get 24/7 updates. The grant source community support, problem solving on weekly sessions. And the big thing is you get the fully managed DAP system. It's not a database, which, like I said, no knock on, that's where we started, but we've evolved through feedback from our clients. You get a fully managed DAP system, databases, analytics, alignment, personnel like grant writers and consultants, and a system all in one place. You get up to 30 grants and incentive proposals submitted. And we only bring on, we're only bringing on 20 customers in this accelerator. We get hundreds of applications, but we want to make sure that we keep our success ratios high. And the biggest thing here is you get investment protection. So it's risk-free. We're not interested in taking your money. What we're interested in is helping you get to your impact, maximizing your money, so you'll come back and tell all of your friends. So here's what we got. What is the pricing based on? And I think we have a few questions here. I'll answer a few questions before we get. So what is your pricing based on? And I put this one of our most common questions. So our pricing is based on what you're looking to achieve, right? In this webinar, we're laser focused on the foundation, which is foundation and corporate grants. Our average grant is about $22,000. It's gone up. Average grant was about $18,600. Now it's about $22,000. But our goal is to get you 50 to 100K in grants, but without risking, right? Which will cost you a flat fee. We don't do percentages because it's frowned upon in the market, but which will cost you a flat fee of $4,500. But you don't risk anything, because if we don't at least get you your investment back in the first 12 months, we'll either give you a credit for the difference or we'll continue to write at no cost. We've helped organizations get $5.8 million in the last, since we launched last January. We haven't had to give away one credit. So that's important. And what do we focus on each level? First level, it's foundation and corporate grants. Next level, it's green money and government grants. Next level, it's large government grants. And then we focus on the large government grants and digital transformation. And, we write a bunch of grants for each one of those. So I'll answer a couple questions. One of the questions are, how do I know there are grant opportunities available? So, and we'll get with this. We'll cut to the chase because I know some of these people have to go, and I'll answer questions. Next steps, right? Here's what we do. We're only taking 20, and if you see on social media, we have that nice new office. We're taking 20. So you put down a $500 refundable deposit, but you have investment protection. And we will go, you fill out the questionnaire, because if we don't feel like you're a good fit, we want to give you your money back and let you know, hey, but we have to be very focused, since we get hundreds of organizations that are looking for our help. We will give you a list of grants and incentives available in your area before we even move forward, right? And then you get all of your questions answered. We bring in an accelerator, only 20 a month, right? We only work with focused and passionate organizations. And let me do this. Let me put this in the chat for anybody that wants to take advantage of this, because we're about to wrap up Q&A. What's the other questions here? Chat. Put this link in here. Here, let me go back. What other questions do we have? Why I'm doing this? Will this work for me if I'm not selling high dollar programs? Can you clarify that? Write this out for you guys. Here it is. Here's the offer. Okay, what was the question? Oh, how can you guarantee that what is the success rate? How can you guarantee that you'll get me to my goal? Well, I'll be honest. There's no guarantees on anything, right? And we've never offered guarantees. What we offer is investment protection. Anybody that offers a guarantee on anything, I almost run. But what we will say is we have an 85% success ratio when we write 6 grants or more, especially in foundation and corporate grants. So we're able to kind of hedge what we're able to do because we write multiple projects and we break it down very well. Our consultants are the best in the industry. So what we will offer is investment protection. We want to get you to your goal, and many of our clients are successful. But there's a few clients that just don't do any work or just have been database clients and they never put in the work because it does take a little work. That's another question too, right? What kind of time commitment am I looking at to do the foundation? It's gonna take you at least those first 14 days are very focused to get these projects out, right? But you do have investment protection. You're not gonna, although there's no guarantee, I'm not gonna say, hey, I guarantee you this amount of money, which would be unethical and maybe illegal. But I will protect your initial investment and say, hey, if we don't at least get your investment back, we'll either continue to write at no cost or give you a credit for the difference. And our clients are satisfied, as you can see with the use cases. So that's a question. What are the other organizations and industries that are you working with? We really focus on healthcare, education, and environmental. A couple reasons why. One, those organizations are very good when it comes to, they're very good when it comes to alignment politically. They're very good when it comes on a large database of analytics of other funders that have given to a similar mission. And those organizations tend to be more focused on creating a bigger impact. Not to take anything away from a community service organization that just wants to do something in their area, which is noble, right? And we just may not be the best fit for that because we want to help organizations that are focused on really growing and scaling out and creating a large impact. So those are the main questions that we get. And how expensive is this? Well, it's an investment. Like I said, depending on, we put a $500 deposit down because, like I said, we only work with organizations that are really serious. And then from there, we can pick a package, right? It's really simple. You pick one of these packages. We'll get you a list of grants that are available in your area and incentives that are available usually, and we can break that down, show you, because there's a lot of, and I know this is not you, but there's some organizations that try to get as much as they can for free. And we just figured out that we really want to work with those organizations that are really focused on solving the problem and get to the next level. So that's what we have. And I'll end with this, because I know we're at 1:14. I started out and gave people time to get on. But a couple questions, I mean, why now? And here's what you ask yourself. If you don't do it now, you've had this problem for a while. You've been thinking about fundraising. You've been trying to get to the next level. What's your alternative? right? To do things the old way, to go get and research a bunch of databases, then research and interview a bunch of grant writers, then research a way to get your analytics and to put technology together, then find a way to do, I mean, if you want to do that, again, we may not be the organization for you. What do you have to lose? I know organizations say, well, I may have to talk to another person. Well, put down a deposit so you can at least hold your slot, right? Because we do these webinars, we're at events. We'll probably get 250 applications, right? We get hundreds of applications a month, and we only take 20. We only take 20 each month because we want to stay focused every single month and be really dialed in on the impact that we create for people. So you have nothing to lose. You can check this off your list, and I promise you, you'll feel so much better if you check this off your list. And you know, you get with us, put your deposit down. You can be rest assured you can find grants in your area, and then from there, you know, you can. And I don't usually do this. I'll do this right now. I'll show you an example of what you'll get. We'll give you a list of grants that are available in your area once you put down a deposit, right? You go through our form and we'll let you know, hey, there's all of these grants, there's federal, there's grants in your area that you qualify for, right? Based on your address and the profile that you do. But just so you know, we can't do this with everybody, so that's why we only work with a few focused organizations, and then, you know, we go from there. Yeah. So and I would say we can work with you. We have flexible payment options. So I would say at least fill out the survey. That's all the time that we have for questions right now. But if you're serious, we've worked with board members and we're uniquely qualified to help you. We can help you with this, and we can help you find the money, right? Especially if you're in a place and you're not gonna lose it. So thank you for that. I think that was one of the questions. Hey, can you help us? What can we do? We wanna make sure that there's grants in our area. So put down a deposit. Like I said, it's non-refundable. I mean, it's refundable. And if we can prove that we can help you, you know, we'll go from there and we'll put together a plan. But that's just the commitment for 12 months. And like I said, once we show you an ROI calculator, I don't know if I have one here. I do. So once you look at the ROI of what you're getting, let's see if I can pull this up. I will do this for you guys. But once you look at the ROI of what you're getting, I mean, look at the time, tools, and talent that you put together, and it would cost you $81,000 of time, tools, and talent, and you're getting it for, you know, 11,500, 15x. It's a no-brainer. So go to the link, put down a deposit. We will work it out with you. We're laser focused. We want to make sure that you're a focused organization that can have a documented impact. I know there's chambers. We've worked with other chambers on. I know there's healthcare organizations. We work with organizations with a lot of patients. We've worked with community service organizations. We work with environmental organizations. We have the tools that you need to make you successful. So go to the link below. We will help you get what you need. I want to thank everybody for jumping on this webinar with us. Here's the next steps again. So put down a non-refundable, refundable deposit, book your demo, because once you get that, you'll get a link and go through your funding assessment. If you're not a good fit, again, we will say, hey, here's your money back, because we only keep 20 in our program every single month. And you'll get that list, you'll get your questions answered, we'll demo anything you want, and then you can pick the level that you want to go to. So with that, I appreciate everybody's time and sticking with me. It's been a little over an hour. So everybody have a great day. Have a blessed day. And remember, it's not about the money. It's all about the impact. Have a blessed day.